All right, everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Stag Project. We're back at it again with another book review. So this week is a little bit different. The book is more leadership based, and it also is a Christian book, so something to do with religion. Now, as I've expressed various times in this channel, religion is something that's very important to me, so I think it's important for me to spread whatever positive message I can about religion through this platform. And more of that will be coming soon in a different format, not a book review, but something else, which I'll be announcing very soon. But back on to today's video. For the book review, we're going to be reviewing Lead Like It Matters by Craig Groeschel. I've read another one of his books. I forget the name, but honestly, a lot of his work is really, really good. Him and Louis Giglio, they make really good books, especially on this topic, on Christianity and self-improvement and leadership and that kind of stuff. This one in particular, Lead Like It Matters, is, for me, was very transformational and was very... it caused a lot of strong emotions in me, especially towards the end of the book. So stay tuned for the book review, starting now. So let's start off this book review with a summary of what the book is. Lead Like It Matters is a Christian/leadership book, like I said, by Craig Groeschel, who's a prominent leader in the Christian community. The book really strives to teach the reader how to build up a church, how to build up a community, through very specific leadership principles. What the book talks about is through these leadership principles, the church will have something called it. And he never really fully defines what that it is. It's kind of just always put in quotations, but it's that feeling, it's that something. It's really hard to explain, but it's that something that a community or a person has that makes it kind of stand out and makes it excel. It breeds excellence. So really what he's just trying to teach the reader how to use these leadership principles and apply them to building this type of community. So what are the results from the book? What did I learn from the book? And I split this up again, same old format. The very first point, though, I think is the most important, and it's the preface to every other point, and it's that the it factor is given to us by God. It's not something we can get through our own accord. It's not something that just, we manufacture, we create. It's given to us by God. And what Craig Groeschel explains is that by allowing God to enter your life, by allowing him to, direct you and guide you, you will inevitably gain this it. And part of that allowing God to kind of come over your life is by following these leadership principles. These principles will lead you closer to God in your community, thus allowing the it to flow more freely. So it's not guaranteed because, like I explained, it's given to us by God. He chooses when to give it to us. We could be doing every single thing right, but, it's ultimately his divine mercy, him giving it to us, allowing us to have that gift to be able to then spread it out to other people in our community. Now, in the book, there are 7 leadership principles that Groeschel covers. I'm not going to talk about each one. I'm just going to talk about the ones that I feel like impacted me the most, the ones that I gained the most from. And the first one is something that's really important in almost anything that you do, and that's vision. So essentially, your why. And this is where it really all starts. I'm glad he put it here in it's the first point he talks about, and I'm glad he does so because it shows the reader that really where it all starts is with your why, which is another book. That one's by Simon Sinek, Start With Your Why, which if you guys want to see a book review on that one, let me know. I have read that one and I really enjoyed that one. But back to this. You need to have an idea of what do you want to do and where do you want to lead your community. You know, like there has to be this common ground that everyone follows. And you build up as a leader, like you lay the foundation and then everyone's on board. Like you're finding people to join your community to help you achieve that one thing. So with vision, Groeschel, he poses some questions to us that we should be asking ourselves when we're creating our vision. So like here, coming directly from the book, why does your organization exist? And you need to be able to answer this clearly. Like it can't be something, you know, very generic. Like you need a very clear answer. Why does your organization exist? You know, what is the purpose behind it? What can your organization be the best in the world at? What is one thing that you can focus on? Which is actually the next chapter is to divine focus. But what can it be the best thing in the world at? If you could only do one thing, what would it be? It's the third question. The fourth, if you left your organization tomorrow, what would you hope would continue forever in that organization? Fifth question, is there an unmet need in your community that your church might be able to uniquely meet? So this one more pertains to, you know, building up a church, like an organization within a church, but how can those two things kind of collide and collaborate, help each other out? And six, something that's very important, what breaks your heart, keeps you awake at night, what wrecks you? And that one's really important because a lot of people find their whys through the things that really bother them, or the things that really, like, things that make you feel restless. Like, it's sort of a way, it can be a way of God kind of guiding you to where you should, like, what things you should be working on. If you feel restless about, for example, wanting to change the climate, you know, like, you believe that things that we're doing right now are really hurting the climate, whatever, and you know, you're bothered by it constantly. You know, that might be God's way of telling you, like, you know, start up a community, start up an organization that helps combat this, you know, in a healthier way. So always look for those things that bother you, like bigger worldly issues that really bother you, and it might be a calling for you to start forming your vision around that. Moving on to the second point in the book, we have unmistakable camaraderie. Groeschel argues that this is something that is found in every good church and every good organization, and I strongly agree because it is. I've seen it personally, and by the way, just in putting it in there, but Groeschel has many examples to where he sees it as well, which is something very good about the book, which I'll talk about later in the strengths and weaknesses. But you need to be able to, like, it shouldn't be a mystery to strangers that you and your team, you and your organization are close. There's this bond that is visible from the outside, and everyone can see how everyone clicks, and everyone gets together and is able to work. Like, everyone is a cog in the machine. I don't know the exact saying, I forget it, but you know what I mean. There's 5 things here that Groeschel he summarizes, like, this is what you need in order to have that unmistakable camaraderie, in order to show others, like including strangers who might be interested in joining your community or organization, these things that you need in order to have that image. And they are for everyone to understand the big picture, to have fun together, to be able to open up, celebrate wins, and fight behind closed doors. So I'll start with understanding the big picture. This goes back to vision. That's why vision is so important, because everyone needs to be on the same page about the vision. Like, what are we striving to get after? What is the mission? Like, what are we trying to do here as an organization, as a community? You know, is this, like, what's the purpose behind this, you know? What do we intend on doing? Once that's clear for everyone, you know, it won't be, when you have confusion in terms of vision, things can get rocky, especially in terms of communication. You know, communication and action, like, people won't know what to do, who to talk to, that kind of thing. Like, it'll be a jumbled mess. And it may look like things are working out, but in reality, if your vision is not clear and someone's confused on it, there's such a higher likelihood of things falling apart. Second thing is having fun together. Now, this one's just kind of obvious. Like, if you're in a community, you're in a group, you want to be able to have fun with each other. You know, like, you don't need to feel anxious or, like, stressed out about talking to someone in your community about things that may bother you or things that you enjoy, your hobbies, that, like, having that strong sense of friendship, strong sense of companionship with other people around you. You know, like, and it's not all just work. You go out and you do some fun things together on the weekends, that kind of stuff. Like, you need to form friendships. Open up. This one is a really big point throughout the whole book, is opening up and being vulnerable. I think this is something Groeschel does really good in his books. He's able to open up to the reader and be extremely vulnerable, and it's kind of what gives him a lot of his credibility. So a lot of people think, like, being vulnerable is, like, a bad thing, like, it's not a very manly thing to do, so to speak. But really, how else are you going to emotionally connect with the people around you? You know, being vulnerable is, like, that's part of it. Obviously, you're not spilling every single little thing and, like, it's a pity party or whatever, but, you know, you're open and you're honest about the things going on. Like, you know, if you mess up, like, hey, I let my emotions get the best of me, like, it was just a mistake on my end, like, and then you do better next time, that type of thing. But, you know, being able to trust in the people you're working with. Celebrate wins. Again, this one's a given. This one's obvious. Like, whenever something good happens, you know, everyone should be getting together. Everyone should be happy, winning. Something I believe in is remembering people's birthdays, and, you know, when it's someone's birthday, do something extravagant, and do something, you know, a big gesture. And some people may not like the big gesture thing, but, you know, kind of tailor it to their needs, if you will. You know, just celebrating life is essentially what I believe Groeschel is trying to tell us. Like, celebrate everything that's happening. And then the last one is fight behind closed doors. So, like, no team is perfect. No team is just 100%. Like, we're the best of buddies. We're the best of friends. Like, everything's, like, you know, flowing 24/7 the way we want it. That's never, you know, part of leadership, part of having a team and an organization, a community, is there will be struggles. People will get mad at each other. Things will happen. People will, you know, feel a certain type of way. They'll let their emotions rule them, that sort of thing. Like, it's bound to happen because we're human, you know, it's part of our nature. But the important thing is to fight it out, you know, like, get it out of your system, talk to each other, you know. Communication is really important here. Whenever there's, you know, you're mad at someone or upset that they did someone, you have to be able to talk to them face to face and communicate your issue with them, and then kind of explain what you're feeling and kind of what you're thinking behind everything, and then help them understand, and then they can help you understand their perspective, and you guys come out of that whole interaction where you're both benefiting. You're both like, okay, like, we know this about each other, like, let's not try to do this or that, or, like, you come to some sort of agreement, and in the end, it's just better. You guys have more respect for each other, and you know kind of how you guys operate, and now you guys can flow more. There's more of a flow state potential, because you know how that person works now. You know what pushes their buttons, that sort of thing. So these 5 points are extremely important in building that camaraderie in your community. Now, the last point I want to talk about in the book that really made an impact on me was kingdom-mindedness. This is the very last principle, so I kind of skipped around. I did the first, the middle, and then the last out of the 7 principles. And kingdom-mindedness, to me, is, I believe it's the most important one you can have if you are seeking it. Again, it's something that God gives you, but kingdom-mindedness is really, I feel like, where you can have the most impact yourself. And it's the idea that, inviting other people who, may be interested in joining your community and sharing everything you have with other people. So, and it's kingdom-mindedness essentially means creating a kingdom here on earth through your community and through God and through the gospel and through the teachings of the church. Like, that is essentially how to sum up kingdom-mindedness. It's such a big concept, It's the idea of, if you come up with an idea for a ministry, or you come up for an idea of how to, tackle a problem in the community, you share that with other communities who may be having that similar problem, or you share the solution, and you help other people based on like the experiences that you had. You give them kind of like the guide, so to speak. So the biggest thing with kingdom-mindedness, though, is the biggest like pitfall, I guess you could say, is a lot of the times people are focused on division. They find a good idea and they want to keep it all to themselves. They don't want to share it. They just want to fully benefit from it and not give it to anyone else. And it's just going up from there. And that's not the way to, bring the kingdom of heaven down here on earth. The way to do that is to share and is to help other people grow. Because when you're helping other people out, when you share your ideas and you help them grow, you're doubling your growth and you're doubling your experience. Now you have, you're able to say you've guided and helped other communities, and now you can keep that outreach going, keep expanding and keep helping. And then the beautiful thing is, it's a domino effect. The people that you helped will start helping other people, and like everyone just starts, helping each other out a bit, even if it's just a little bit. And I know it seems like, oh, that's so idealistic, but really, if you notice it, that is how kindness spreads. If you ever notice, something bad happens to someone, whenever that first person steps up to help the person in trouble, other people will then slowly start. It's kind of that group mentality thing, It's the same with kingdom-mindedness. That is really what kingdom-mindedness is creating that kingdom, fostering it here on earth. Now, moving on to what will I implement into my life after reading this book. And to be clear, I read this book probably around 2 months ago, somewhere around that time. What am I going to apply from it? So the first thing is related to vision. And what I want to start doing is consistently waking up and reminding myself of my vision, to be clear of my why, and to, reinforce it through the actions that I take on a day-to-day basis. I don't want to keep living my life to where I'm not following my why, and I'm not organized in the sense that, my actions don't complement my why and my values. So really, just start being more cognizant and more self-aware of how I'm having that self-dialogue in terms of my why. Especially, and that's why I wrote here, when I wake up, just kind of remind myself in the morning, and I'll also remind myself at night before I go to bed, that kind of thing. Another thing is to be more sociable, to bring others together, to kind of be that intermediate communicator that kind of brings parties together, helps them collaborate, and I can also collaborate with others. to form that unmistakable camaraderie, like we talked about in the second point. Really, that to form that camaraderie, it starts with being more sociable, stepping out of my shell more. I'm more introverted, I would say, but creeping into that extroverted side a little bit more, starting conversations, asking people, why do you wake up in the morning, that kind of thing. Maybe, kind of delve into that and then connect other people, through similar hobbies and similar things that they might share. And then lastly, the last thing I would like to implement into my life and keep working on is to share my knowledge with others and to bring them closer to their calling that God has given them, by bringing down to earth what I know about the kingdom of God. So using this platform really is where I'm trying to do that, is kind of, spreading what I believe in, and then, people who are curious and people who already believe, kind of making a safe space for them to come here and, to learn from me. I can give my knowledge and my experience on things that I've had in life, and to help them grow in their faith and to help them grow as people, as leaders, and that kind of thing. That's where I see this going. And that's my why too, honestly. That's the vision that I have for the Stag Project, is to help people in that regard. So I guess just keep uploading videos is really how I'm implementing this into my life. Moving on to the strengths and weaknesses. So one strength of the book, I only wrote down one strength, one weakness for this one. But the strength is there's a lot of vulnerability from Groeschel. Like, he talks about things he's struggled with personally, and like things he succeeded in, but things also he struggled in, personal stories, that kind of. I think this book, he does it so well. The examples he shares, and like the openness, how open he is about all the things going on, that it connects with the reader on a different level. I mean, like I said, I got pretty emotional towards the last part of the book, which I'll let you guys get to that part and read that. It's like literally the last chapter it's how to get it and how to keep it. He talks about some really heavy stuff, and it really connected with me, and I think it can connect with anyone. Like, it's that inspirational, it's that captivating. So that's the biggest strength in this book. It's just how vulnerable he is about things. And in terms of weaknesses, I'll be honest, I struggle to find a weakness with this book. I think, if anything, maybe it's like, honestly, like the way the book is, it's kind of like a longer book in terms lengthwise, so the pages can be kind of overbearing to read at times, like if you're trying to read for a long time. But I honestly, like, that's the only thing I can think of in terms of content. Like, the book itself, really, like, from start to finish, it's filled with jokes and examples and all these different things that really just make the book shine, honestly. So for my final recommendation, I'm going to say I 100% recommend this book to anyone, especially those who are, who want that kind of leadership guidance and also, a tie back to Christianity and the church. I also suggest this book for people who are exploring their spirituality. If people are confused, or maybe they don't know what they want, or that kind of thing, I would urge you to read the book and more of Greg's books, because they don't ever, in my experience reading them, there's never been heavy judgment on, if you're religious or not. It's just kind of there to teach you about, Christianity and how wonderful and amazing it is and how it can change your life. So honestly, I recommend this book to anyone, but more specifically, I recommend it to people who want like that focus in leadership. All right, everyone, that's going to wrap it up for this video. Thank you guys again for watching. I really love doing these book reviews. I really love that you guys like these book reviews. If I can just ask you guys for one thing, it's if you can share it out to other people, make sure other people are getting this content, and just kind of, helping the algorithm, whatever they say, to get this stuff more noticed. I would really like it for more people to be able to see these videos, and for me to receive more feedback so I can, create videos that add more value into people's lives. I'll see you guys in the next one. And as always, take care.